Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Teeing Off with RevSportz. We have a lot to discuss today, starting with the second test between India and South Africa, the third ODI between India women and Australia women, David Warner's retirement, and Indian football team's journey to the Asian Cup. Before we get to that, let me introduce my guests. We have Shubhayan Chakraborty joining from South Africa, Debashish Sen, Bharat Ramraj, Rahul Giri, and Boria Mujumdar. First off, Shubhayan, starting with you, give us all the new updates from Cape Town. What is it like over there?
Both India and South Africa trained yesterday, so it was good to see the players turn up even on New Year's Day. And the takeaway from that practice session was, of course, Virat Kohli. The intensity at which he was batting yesterday at the nets was phenomenal. Of course, India is scheduled to train today as well, so we'll get to know a lot more about how they are gearing up. What could be their likely combination? I'm seeing two changes in this playing 11 as of now. But let's see, Ravindra Jadeja for Ravichandran Ashwin maybe, and Mukesh Kumar in place of Prasad Krishna maybe. So these are the two changes I'm seeing. But it was good to see the Indian players turn up for the practice on New Year's Day.
Boria, Devashish, and Bharat, what are you all expecting to see from the Indian team in the second test? Bharat, why don't you start?
Yeah, but I think first of all, it's not just bowling or batting. I think India have to improve on an overall basis in all aspects of the game. That's the first point. And second point, as far as India's bowling combination is concerned, I don't know how the pitch conditions correctly it is at Cape Town, but if there is any sea movement, I would look at picking four pace bowlers and picking one spinner. I don't think I would go with Shardul Thakur because he's taken 7 wickets over his last 7 test matches. So I don't think it's a wicket taking option. But I guess India will again look to balance the side.
Absolutely. Devashish, your thoughts. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, obviously it's going to be an uphill task. Means obviously India needs to change their mindset. Means obviously there are a lot of qualities in the Indian team, starting with the batting and bowling department. But all that the need of the hour is the change of mindset. Then it's going to be an uphill task when you are when you are bundled out for inside 3 days and lose the match by an innings and 32 runs. Means you need to regroup, and I think that the team management must have had enough discussions. Means obviously, as Shubhayan yesterday shared his video of the Indian training session with Virat, spending almost 45 minutes in the nets. So it really shows that there is a lot of intent, lot of women's focus to try and sort things out. But having said that, it is easier said than done in the middle, because all they have to do is to again the face the South African fast bowling attack, who are on top at this moment. Yes, they would be missing Kodse, but having said that, they have to really focus on how to handle Andre Barger, because he has been a really big concern for the Indian team, especially with his left arm in fast bowling, and also Marco Jansen. Um, Kargi.
Yes, Boria, you're on mute.
It's a huge test match. I mean, when you think about it, only one captain in MS Dhoni has been able to draw a series in South Africa. So it is that significant for India. I mean, you're talking about a 30-year-old history from 1992 to now, and the only time you've been able to draw a test series is under MS Dhoni 1-1 in 2010. That tells you how difficult it has been. Having said that, if this was a point made by Bharat last day, that if you don't win key matches, Boxing Day, New Year Test, World Test Championship, then what are you the best team in the world? So it's another massive test for us to also get the team combination right. Shubhayan was talking about the intensity. That is the word. In the first test match, it was lacking. Captaincy, the intensity was lacking. The bowling intensity was lacking. In the first innings, too many shots. People were playing like white ball. In the second innings, the way Shubman out got out and Shreyash got out and some of the others got out, you were like, what on earth is going on? I mean, these guys are better players. So clearly, you need better application, and you need that at the start of the year for you to set the tone. Think about it. If you lose 0-2 to South Africa and then come back for the England series, automatically the whole cricketing momentum dips at the start of the year, something you don't want to happen. So it's a huge test match from the standpoint of the rest of the year and also from the standpoint of Indian cricket's credibility, not to mention Rahul Dravid as coach.
Yes, and Bharat, India women versus Australia women, play their second ODI today after two losses on the trot. If India lose tonight as well, what changes would you want to see in the Indian women's cricket team setup?
See, changes I've already talked about with the Indian women's team. First of all, they have to look at the basics. If they get the basics right, then I think they will start winning. You drop 7 catches, you drop 3 catches, you drop 4 catches in every single match, then you won't really win. You're running between the wickets. Whatever players come in, let it be Deepti Sharma didn't have a good game last time around, but I think it goes back to basics. For too many years, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, India have been dropping too many catches. They're running between the wickets as well. They shot a lot of runs. So I think that is where India have to improve. The collapses as well. They might be 218 for 4 or 171 for 3, and then they go and collapse. These things keep repeating. At some point, it has to stop, and that is where I think the focus would be from Amul. I've known Amul a little bit. I've interacted with him. I think he's a good coach. He also helped Mumbai to win the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy in one of the seasons, where he made some good changes, where he brought in some format-specific players. So yeah, hopefully he can do a fine job with the women's team.
Boria, what lies in the future of women's cricket?
You have to perform. I mean, for how long will you say that we have potential and we are coming close? You've come close in the Commonwealth Games of 2022. You've come close in the World Cup of 2023 in South Africa. You've come close so many times and yet you've choked. Are you the new chokers? I mean, you've got to win. Last time when you played, for example, 70 runs of 75 balls, you lost. 35 runs of 6 overs, you lost. I mean, your captain has to lead, your vice captain. I keep hearing the term GOAT. I keep hearing greatest of all time. How do you qualify as the greatest of all time? I really want to understand what is the definition of GOAT. With Virat Kohli, I understand. I mean, look at the kind of record the man has, and then the number of series or bilaterals he's been able to win. Yes, he's also won ICC trophies. Do not forget, as a youngster, he won a World Cup in 2011 and the Champions Trophy in 2013. Thereafter, he made 2 World Test Championship finals with this team. I understand GOAT. But when you talk about GOAT for a Harmanpreet Kaur or a Smriti Mandana, what is the index? What is the index of the greatest of all time? How many matches have you won which really matter? You made the final in 2017 and 2020. All of us thought that incredible talent, we will now see a revolution because Indian women's cricket is poised for a revolution. 18 was bad, the whole Mithali Raj controversy. After the 2020, 86,000 people at the MCG, by the way, that final was also a rout with India dropping a catch and Alyssa Healy taking to us. After that, if you see for the last, 2.5, 3 years now, where is the that one X Factor match that you actually won? Which series? Tell me. You lost to South Africa at home. Thereafter, you lost a World Cup in the 50 over format and in the 20 over format. You've lost multiple bilateral series. Yes, you won red ball, but winning red ball when you don't even play that format all of 24, what does that tell you? Are we only about some individual performances in some games which really don't matter in the larger context of women's cricket? This is something that we really need to understand. And I know a lot of people will say, "Arey, how can you criticize?" What do you mean? We are not criticizing here. We are asking some pertinent questions that this Indian team, for the longest time, I've heard is full of talent. The one person who stood out for me is Jemima Rodriguez. She has been stellar. In the last couple of series, the way I've seen Jemima Rodriguez play and the way she has fielded has given me enormous amount of hope. Renuka Thakur, yes. Deepti Sharma more with the ball, not so much with the bat. But consistency from Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandana, the two real key players in this team, absolutely essential if India has to make a mark.
Shubha, and have you or any fellow journalists around you in South Africa have been following the women's series, and what's the reaction over there?
I think when it comes to Australia, everyone has given up. At this point, everyone has given up. Everyone has given up. So, but you expect a lot better from the Indian team. The resources that they are getting right now. We expect a lot more competition out on the field. It's the word intensity which I started this show with. Just put
Yeah.
your intensity out there. Just give your best out there. And of course, Australia are the benchmarks of women's cricket. They are expected to be the favorites every time they step out to the field. But in this series, particularly, the lack of intensity has at least disappointed me the most.
Yes, and Rahul, over to Indian football. The Indian football team has had an incredible journey going into
Gargi,
the Asian.
before you go to the Indian football, I would please request you to leave me right now because I have to rush. A couple of
I
players
will
are
leave
calling
you.
me.
All right, all right. Goodbye.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, and
Can I
Rahul,
add something on women's cricket?
of course,
Uh,
go
yeah.
on, go on.
See, one thing with the Australian team, we saw in the women's ashes that without Meg Lanning, I don't think the Australian women's team is as good as it was. We have seen with Haley's captaincy that the last few matches, even in the women's ashes, England came very close to beating them. It ended as a tie. I don't think we can say give up or something because I feel there's a little bit of chink without McLaren as the captain. So it's for India to really scale up and win.
I absolutely agree with Bharat. What do you mean give up? I mean, I last match we were in with a chance. I mean, come on, 35 of 6. First match we scored 280. I mean, if we don't think that these are good enough, I mean, you defend a 280, you score a 258, you are in with a chance with 5 wickets in hand. Bharat is absolutely spot on. And see, the difference is we don't know how to win. Australia does. Commonwealth final, or even the first match of the Commonwealth Games, if you remember, that Renuka Thakur spell where she ran through the
Yeah,
Australian top order. And then number 7 and 8 came and won the match. It is about believing that we can beat the Australians, losing the match by 9 runs in the Commonwealth final, a match that was there for us to be won. Devashish was there with me. We remember that evening in Birmingham. Come on, there is no question that this Australian team is beatable. Of course, beatable. But that's where it is disappointing that you don't put a price on your wicket, you don't take your catches, you don't do your basics right, and then you come and say there are a lot of positives. For how many years do you want to tell us there are a lot of positives? Come on, you've got the facilities, you've got a WPL, you've got the board backing you, you've got corporate support, you've got money, you've got fandom. Win us a series and let 2024 be the start of that revolution.
absolutely. I think everyone agrees with you here, Boria. And Rahul, again, the Indian football team has had an incredible journey going into the Asian Cup. Talk about that.
Yeah, this time the expectation are also higher because the team has raised the expectation by winning three consecutive tournaments in the likes of Tri-Nation Cup, Continental Cup, and South Cup. And if you see, before this, Indian team has participated in AFC Asian Cup for four times, and their best finish was in 1964. But I would like to remind that that time only four teams participated in that tournament, so that time the competition was a bit easier. But after that, whenever the team has participated, say in 1984, India managed only a draw against Iran. Then again in 2011, it was such an ordinary performance. Though in 2019, India started on a high note. But if you see the total, it hasn't been a good show for Indian team in the AFC Asian Cup. But this time the expectation are higher because the Indian team has been going through a good phase and but also, our team has been a bit lucky because they had been a bit unlucky because they had been drawn in such a strong group, alongside Australia, Uzbekistan, and Syria. Competition going to be a bit tougher. The expectations are also not so high because even the coach has also said that we don't have such a realistic chance. But if you see this tournament as a preparation stage for the next World Cup qualifier, then I think it will be the best stage for Indian football. So let's see where our boys can pull off a miracle or not in the upcoming tournament.
When does the tournament start? January 12th, is it?
Yeah, it's from 12 Jan.
Okay, so to celebrate the Indian football team and to wish them good luck, we have something very special prepared for them. Take a look.
As the Indian football team sets foot in Qatar for the AFC Asian Cup quest, let's reflect on India's impressive performance in the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers at Kolkata. Sunil Chhetri and his team displayed a marvelous show, securing their spot in the prestigious tournament for the fifth time. Leading up to the qualifiers, amidst high ticket demands, Igor Stimac struggled to find his best combination after suffering three consecutive friendly losses against Jordan, Belarus, and Bahrain. The Croatian head coach then gave opportunities to exciting youngsters such as Anwar Ali, Suresh Wangjam, Akash Mishra, and Naurem Roshan Singh in the opening game against Cambodia. India started strong with Sunil Chetrik scoring a brace to secure a 2-0 victory over Cambodia. In the second encounter against Afghanistan, India faced their toughest opponent in the group. Chetri's 86th minute opener was matched by Afghanistan's unmarked header from Amiri. However, at the last moment, Sahal scored a tricky goal from Ashik's assist, bringing euphoria to VIBK fans. Before facing Hong Kong in the final qualifier, India received the good news that they had already qualified for the AFC Asian Cup in Qatar. They further delighted fans with a 4-0 rout over Hong Kong. Sunil Chhetri scored his record 84th goal, equaling his tally with Hungarian striker Ferenc Puskás. Apart from India's dominating performance, Igor Stimac found relief in the number of youngsters showcasing their capabilities in the national colours. Akash Mishra and Anwar Ali caught everyone's attention with their courageous performance. As we approach India's opener against formidable Australia, Igor Stimac faces the challenge of finding the best options to replace Anwar Ali, Jigsan Singh and Ashik Kurunian, who were sidelined due to injuries. India lost 4-1 against Australia in the 2011 AFC Asian Cup in Qatar. Can the Blue Tigers amend the scoreline this time?
Now, Boria, coming back to David Warner, he has been a stalwart in cricket and he has been a good friend of yours through the years. Reflect back on his journey and how he is as a person.
I'll want to sort of take the same question to Devashish. I mean, Devashish, in the morning yesterday at about 7 a.m., the first question he asked me was, should we do a tribute for David Warner? Because, and he and I are morning people. And this guy he's imperfect. And that's the best part about him. He makes mistakes. He's like you and me. We'll make mistakes. We are mortals. He's no Tendulkar. He's no God. He's a absolute human being who is made of flesh and blood, and that's what makes David Warner so endearing. He will do the Pushpa dance. He will make some strange things with the Warner sisters. He and Candice will pose for all of us. And that is the David Warner story. I remember Michael Clark introducing me in 2013 in Chennai for that series, and since then we've kept in touch. Every time there has been a controversy, he and I have come closer. Every time he's told me, look, I'm not even here to seek perfection. I will work the hardest, fight the hardest, make a comeback again, and that's my job. That's the David Warner I love. I love the man's passion. He was told you can't play test cricket, 111 tests. He was told you can't make a comeback after Sandpaper Gate, 7,000 ODI runs. He was told you can't make an IPL team in 2021. Goes on to become the best player in the world T20. That's David Warner. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Devashish, do you want to say something about David Warner? Your tribute to
Yeah,
him?
obviously it's a perfect redemption for the man who has been a true servant for Australian cricket. Yes, there was a mistake on his part with that sandpaper get, but then the manner in which he made his comeback means obviously it's more than 500 runs in the World Cup and paving a way for Australia to win that sixth title. It itself is a proof that he's a superb player for Australia, and he's a standout performer. Remember, and he's the second batter for Australia to score the most number of runs after Ricky Ponting, and that in itself is a proof that he what a great ambassador he has been for Australian cricket over the years. And the interesting fact point is that he keeping his doors open for a Champions Trophy return. But I for one would feel that that would be a distant impossibility, because see, in Australian team, more than often you find players coming up and taking the places. So but then he will be always remembered for someone who has kept Australian cricket in high esteem, means, and his performance will show the way. Means what a great ambassador he has been, and more than that, he has been loved by fans in India as well. Means you ask an Australian, he has more fans in India than in Australia. So
Absolutely.
if you talk, and the fact is that he has performed in the highest order. Every time he goes out to the middle, he just cherished that Australian crest. He cherished that franchise, the franchise he is playing in, and that is what David Warner is all about. And I, for one, would be looking forward to him playing a great stellar role in Delhi for Delhi Capitals in the IPL.
Yes, and Team Rev Sports wishes David Warner a happy retirement. We have something special prepared for David Warner as well. Take a look, everyone.
111 test matches, winner of the ODI World Cup in 2015 and 2023, high scorer for Australia in 2019 and 2023, almost 7,000 ODI runs, incredible test match record. David Warner will leave behind a legacy that will be difficult to match. Feisty, determined, passionate, committed, David Warner has been an absolute trailblazer. Every time people written him off, he came back and showed that everything was possible. Every time people challenged him and said he was not good enough, he proved that he was. Yes, there were controversies. For someone as committed and determined, it is part of life. But the controversies do not define him. His achievements do. A family man, the impact of Candice Warner can never be underestimated. And now the Warner sisters are a phenomenon by themselves. As he plays his last test match at the SCG, the announcement that he will not play ODI cricket but could be available for the Champions Trophy has left cricket poorer. Yes, he will play the T20 leagues and of course the IPL, so we will all see him in India in 2 months' time. But may we say that David Warner has enriched cricket by everything that he has done in the last decade and more. Yes, there is Sandpaper Gate, and that's proof that he is not perfect, but imperfect is the new perfect. He sought perfection in an imperfect day, and in doing so has raised the bar. He is a mortal who has turned himself immortal in the legions and pantheon of world cricket. Go well, mate. Have a great farewell and happy retirement.
It's about just being resilient. I think I've had a very good upbringing with my parents, and I grew up in housing commission. So for me, I had to work from a young age. I've been taught how to be resilient from a young age, and there's some great stories out there through very highly successful people who have come through the same thing. So for me, it's all about embracing the fact that I'm going to fail, but how am I going to overcome failure? Just do what I normally do. Back myself, have a clear mind, go out there, commit to 100% to what I can do. If it comes off, it comes off, but I'm prepared to fail. So if you're prepared to fail, you will succeed. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. That's it for this show. Stay tuned to Teeing Off with RevSportz every morning from Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. Till then, we'll leave you with clips of the Indian team practicing in Cape Town.